A cultural phenomenon, a show about nothing really that captured our attention each and every week. Nearly 20 years later, I still have friends that are quoting Seinfeld. And a new book is out called Seinfeldia. It's from TV historian and New York Times bestselling author Jennifer Keishin Armstrong. Good morning, Jennifer. How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
I can think of 2 or 3 friends off the top of my head that are quoting lines from Seinfeld still to this day. What was it about this show? Why is it still loved so much?
Well, I think that is a huge part of it, what you just said. You know, these lines that they gave us these ways of talking about kind of sometimes uncomfortable or at least kind of awkward things that come up in our everyday lives. You know, they gave us things like shrinkage, not that there's anything wrong with that. They're real and they're spectacular. Master of my domain. Those are all things that maybe you wouldn't necessarily want to bring up in conversation, but they give us this new way of talking about them. And it's funny, and it's a way of connecting with other people who love the show.
Yeah, it is funny. Shrinkage, that's a good one. I forgot about that one. Why did you decide to write this book about Seinfeld, though?
Well, and that's a huge part of it, what we were just talking about, the fact that it still lives on so much. Part of the title Seinfeldia is just, the fact that this show kind of lives on in its own little dimension where we keep quoting it and we remember all the characters and it becomes part of our lives. And it's partly because it's lasted so long in, reruns everywhere. You can catch it all the time, and it's on Hulu now streaming.
Yeah.
Like there's just endless Seinfeld in our lives, and it kind of just is always there. And I wanted to look at why that is and how this show came to be such a part of our lives.
So what did you learn, I guess, while writing this book? Because I imagine there's some things that were even probably surprised you about this. What can you share with us?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of great behind-the-scenes stories, even more than I had heard before. I talked to the writers a lot, and they had these great stories behind the stories. One of my favorites is the story behind the Elaine dance, if you remember that. Yeah. She's an interesting dancer, let's say, and kind of shocks her coworkers and her employees. And it turns out that was actually inspired by the famous producer of Saturday Night Live, Lorne Michaels. One of his former employees ended up working at Seinfeld as a writer and had seen him dance that way and gave it to Elaine. So, there's lots of fun kind of like true life versions of the stories behind the stories.
Well, don't stop there. I mean, this is good stuff. I mean, I could talk to you for a long time about this. What other stories do you have? What else did you learn?
There's so many good ones. Another one of my favorite things about Seinfeld and the fact that it lives on is the fact that, for instance, the actor who played the soup Nazi, Larry Thomas, he still makes his living essentially playing the soup Nazi. People will pay him to go around the world just saying "no soup for you" to people and signing soup ladles. He's now the actual spokesman for the real life version of the soup Nazi company. It's called the Original Soup Man. That's the guy on 55th Street in New York City who had his rules about how you eat his soup and inspired the character. And now Larry Thomas, the actor who played him, is the official spokesman for the actual company. So there's a lot of this kind of back and forth interplay between fiction and reality still to this day.
Oh, that's great. One of my favorite TV series of all time. If we need our fix, where can we watch Seinfeld now?
Now you can watch it on Hulu, streaming the whole thing, complete episodes, not cut like they were for reruns. And I love it because you can just watch it in order over and over again.
Yeah, and your book Seinfeldia is out too. Go get that where books are sold. Jennifer, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you for having me.
A fun TV show. All right, I've been looking forward to